Okay, let's solve for the roots of this quadratic equation using factoring. So we have x squared plus 10x plus 24 is equal to 0. Okay, so para ma-solve natin to quadratic equation na to using factoring, ilalagay natin lahat ng variable term and constant term in one side of the equation, and dapat 0 yung nasa right side. Okay, then since nakalipat na lahat, we will now proceed to the next step, which is to factor our polynomial. So si x squared plus 10x plus 24, pwede natin siyang i-factor using quadratic trinomial factoring case number 1. So para ma-factor to, let's prepare two groups. Okay, kopyahin natin yung equal to 0. Tapos yung x squared, yung first term natin, ifa-factor natin siya. So factor ni x squared, simple lang, x times x. Tapos, kopyahin natin yung last term, which is positive 24. That will be our product. And maghanap tayo ng factors ni 24 na pag inad natin, the answer is the middle term, which is equal to 10. Ayan. So, dapat equal siya dun sa 10. So, isip tayo ng factors ni 24 na pag inad, equal to 10. So, we have 6 and 4. So, pag minultiply natin, that will be equal to 24. Pag inad natin, that will be equal to 10. Ayan, nakuha na natin yung factors ni 24 na magbibigay sa atin ng 10. So, kukopyahin natin yung factors na yon, si 6 at si 4. Okay, so si 6, lalagay natin sa first group. So, positive 6. At si 4, ilalagay natin sa second group. That will be positive 4. So, that's it. Yung factors ng polynomial natin will be x plus 6 times x plus 4. Ayan. So, meron na tayong factor. Ang susunod nating step after we apply factoring will be equating each factor to 0. So, si x plus 6 equate natin to 0. Si x plus 4 equate natin to 0. Now, let's solve for the value of x sa bawat equation. So, si x plus 6, lipat natin yung positive 6 sa kabila and change the sign. That will give us x is equal to negative 6. Dito naman sa second equation natin, kunin natin si positive 4, lipat natin sa kabila and change the sign. That will give us x is equal to negative 4. Now, we have the value of x already. The value of x of this equation will be equal to negative 6 and negative 4. And that's it. Ta-da! Alright. Let's solve for the roots of this quadratic equation using factoring. So we have x squared minus 6x minus 16 is equal to 0. So, ang first step natin in solving for this quadratic equation is to make sure na lahat ng variable term natin, lahat ng constant term, nasa isang side ng equation at yung nasa right side ng equation natin is dapat equal to 0. So, nandito siya. So, since nakaayos na yung ating quadratic equation, our next step will be factoring. So, let's apply factoring. So, we have x squared minus 6x minus 16. I-factor natin yon using factoring quadratic trinomial case number 1. So, prepare tayo ng dalawang groups. Tapos, kopyahin natin yung equal to 0. Then, let's copy our first term and get the factor of our first term. So, factors ni x squared, we have x times x. Then, kopyahin natin yung ating last term, negative 16. That will serve as our product. Tapos, maghahanap tayo ng factors ni negative 16 na pag inad natin, it is equal to b. And our b is equal to the middle term, which is negative 6. Ayan. So, hanap tayo ng factors ni negative 16 na pag inad natin, equal to negative 6. So, the factors of negative 16 will be negative 8 and 2. Okay, so we have negative 8 times 2, that will be equal to negative 16. Pag inad natin, it is equal to negative 6. So, nakuha na natin yung factors na hinahanap natin. So, kopyahin natin si negative 8 and si positive 2. Si negative 8, lagay natin sa first group natin. Si positive 2, lagay natin sa second group natin. And that will be the factor of our polynomial. We have x minus 8 and x plus 2. Okay, susunod nating step, we have to equate each factor to 0. So, x minus 8 is equal to 0. x plus 2 is equal to 0. Okay. Tapos, let's solve for the value of x of each equation. So, dito, sa equation natin na x minus 8 is equal to 0, lipat natin si negative 8 to the other side of the equation, changing the sign. That will give us x is equal to positive 8. Kasi, pinaltan natin yung sign niya. Ganon din yung gagawin natin sa kabilang equation. X plus 2 is equal to 0. So, lipat natin si positive 2 sa kabila. That will give us x. Yung positive 2, change the sign. That will give us negative 2. Now that we have the two values of x, okay, sulat natin sa final answer natin. X is equal to 8 and negative 2. And that's it. Tara! Alright. Okay. Let's solve for the roots of this quadratic equation using factoring. So, ang equation natin is 2x squared plus 11x plus 12 is equal to 0. So, para masagutan natin ang equation na to using factoring, we need to make sure that all the variable term and constant term is on the left side of the equation. So, since nasa left side na lahat, ang gagawin natin next is to apply our factoring technique. So, looking at our polynomial sa left side, ang gagamitin natin is factoring quadratic trinomial case number 2. So, ang step natin is identify natin yung A, B, and C ng ating quadratic trinomial. So, we have A is equal to 2, B is 11, and C is 12. Tapos, let's get the product of AC. So, 2 times 12, that is equal to 24. So, yung 24 na yan, okay, mag-isip tayo ng factors ni 24 na pag inad natin, the answer is equal to B. And yung B natin is equal to 11. So, factors ni AC na pag inad natin, the answer is B, which is in this case, it is 11. So, factors of 24 can be 3 times 8. Okay, so 3 times 8 is 24. Tapos, pag inad natin, the answer will be 11. So, nakuha na natin yung values of M and N natin na gagamitin sa pag-factor. Tapos, kopyahin natin yung polynomial, 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. So, sulat natin si 2x squared, pati si positive 12. Tapos, yung 11x, i-express natin siya as the sum of 3x plus 8x. So, saan galing yung 3x and 8x na yan? Dito sa ating factors of AC. So, pinahaba natin yung ating trinomial and naging polynomial na siya with 4 terms. Then, after that, let's apply factoring by grouping. So, i-group natin. We will have 2x squared plus 3x sa first group plus 8x plus 12 dun sa second group. Now, let's factor the common factor for each group. So, si 2x squared plus 3x, ang common factor nila is pareho silang may variable x. Tapos, pag tinanggal natin yung x sa lahat ng term ni first group, that will give us 2x plus 3. Yan. Now, sa second group naman, so sa second group, ang common factor nila is they are all divisible by 4. So, let's divide each term by 4. That will give us 2x plus 3. Now, kung mapapansin natin, meron tayong common group na 2x plus 3. So, pag finactor out natin yung common group na yan, 2x plus 3, ang matitira will be x plus 4. So, nakuha na natin yung ating factor ni 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. So, lagay lang tayo ng equal symbol para maging equation na ulit siya. So, tapos, let's equate each factor to 0. Okay. So, we have 2x plus 3 is equal to 0 and x plus 4 is equal to 0. So, let's solve for the value of x of each equation, giving us, for the first equation, magiging x is equal to negative 3 over 2 siya. At yung sa second equation naman natin, magiging x is equal to negative 4. So, the values of x for this quadratic equation, we have negative 3 over 2 and negative 4. And that's it. Ta-da! Alright. Let's solve for this quadratic equation using factoring. So, ito yung equation natin, 10x squared plus 11x minus 6 is equal to 0. So, para masagutan natin to using factoring, our first step is to make sure na lahat ng terms nasa left side ng equation natin. Then, kung nasa left side na siya, pwede na nating simulan ng factoring. So, let's factor 10x squared plus 11x minus 6. Let's use the quadratic trinomial case number 2 in factoring our polynomial. So, let's identify the values of a, b, and c. So, yung a natin is equal to 10, yung b is equal to 11, and c is equal to negative 6. Okay, next, let's multiply our a and c. So, we will have 10 times negative 6. 10 times negative 6 is negative 60. Tapos, ang gagawin natin after natin makuha yon, we will look for factors of AC na pag inad natin, the answer is B. Ayan, yung middle term natin. So, isip tayo ng factors ni negative 60 na pag inad natin, equal siya sa middle term, which is 11. So, we can say that 15 and negative 4. So, 15 times negative 4 is negative 60. Pag inad natin, 15 plus negative 4, it is equal to 11. Now, let's rewrite our equation. Kopyahin natin yung trinomial. 10x squared plus 11x minus 6. Okay, kopyahin natin si first term at si last term. At si middle term, i-express natin siya to the sum of 15x and negative 4x. Ayan. So, saan nanggaling si 15x at si negative 4x? Sa factors ni negative 60 na pag inad, the answer is 11. Okay. Then, since polynomial na siya, we can factor this using factoring by grouping. So, i-group natin si first term at si second term, at si third term at si last term. So, we will have 10x squared plus 15x sa first group, negative 4x minus 6 sa second group. Now, let's find our common factor for each group. So, sa first group natin, ang common factor nila is 5x. So, let's divide each term by 5x. That will give us 2x plus 3. Ayan. Okay? Tapos, punta naman tayo kay second group. So, sa second group, ang common factor nila is they are both divisible by negative 2. So, let's divide each term by negative 2. We will have 2x plus 3. So, if we observe, meron tayong common group which is 2x plus 3. So, pagka finactor out natin si 2x plus 3, ang matitira will be 5x minus 2. And that will be the factor of our polynomial 10x squared plus 11x minus 6. Tapos, pag nakuha na natin yung factor, let's equate each factor to 0. So, we have two equations. Isang 2x plus 3 is equal to 0 at isang 5x minus 2 is equal to 0. Let's solve for the value of x of each equation. So, sa first equation, we have x is equal to negative 3 over 2. Sa second equation naman, it will be x is equal to 2 over 5. Now, to write our final answer, we have two values of x, which is negative 3 over 2 and 2 over 5. And that's it. Ta-da! Alright. Let's solve the roots of this quadratic equation using factoring. So, yung given na quadratic equation sa atin is 6x squared minus 5x minus 4 is equal to 0. So, in using factoring in solving quadratic equation, we need to place all variable term and all the constant term in one side of the equation. Dapat yung matitira sa right side is 0. So since yung equation natin is all the variable and constant term is nasa right side na, ang next step natin is kailangan natin siyang i-factor. So, what factoring method are we going to use? So, gagamit tayo ng factoring quadratic trinomial case number 2. So, sa paggamit ng case number 2, kailangan natin kunin yung A, B, and C ng ating quadratic trinomial. So, yung A natin is 6, B is negative 5, and C is negative 4. So, nakuha na natin yung A, B, and C. Ang susunod na step is for us to get the product of AC. So, let's substitute. 6 times negative 4 will give us negative 24. Tapos, pag nakuha na natin yung product ni AC, hanap tayo ng factors ni AC na pag inad natin, the answer is equal to B. Yung b dito is yung middle term, which is equal to negative 5. Okay, so isip na tayo ng factors ni negative 24. So, pwede siyang 3 times negative 8. So, 3 times negative 8 is negative 24 pa rin. Pag inad natin, 3 plus negative 8, it is equal to negative 5. Which is yun yung hinahanap natin na sum ng factors ni AC. Now, after getting the correct factor of AC, ang susunod natin gagawin is kopyahin yung quadratic trinomial and then kopyahin si first term at si last term. Yung middle term, i-express natin siya as the sum of 3x and negative 8x. So, na-expand na natin yung ating trinomial into a 4-term polynomial. So, since apat na yung term nila, pwede na natin gamitin yung factoring by grouping. So, i-group natin si first term at si second term, si third term at si fourth term. So, let's get the common factor of each group. So, sa first group muna tayo. Yung common factor ni first group is 3x. And let's divide each term by 3x. So, it will give us 2x plus 1. So, punta naman tayo kay second group. Let's identify the greatest common factor of our second group. So, yung common factor nila is negative 4. So, let's divide negative 4 to each term. So, we have 2x plus 1. Okay, ayan. Nakuha na natin yung mga common factors nila. If you can observe, meron ba tayong common group? Yes, meron tayong common group. And the common group is 2x plus 1. Okay? So, pag finactor out natin yung common group na 2x plus 1, anong matitira sa ating polynomial? That will be 3x minus 4. And that's it. That is the factor of our quadratic trinomial. Equate lang natin sila to 0 para maging equation na siya. Tapos, after natin ma-factor, ang susunod nating step is to equate each factor to 0. So, we have 2x plus 1 is equal to 0 and 3x minus 4 is equal to 0. Let's solve for the value of x of each equation. So, yung first equation natin, the value of x is equal to negative 1/2. So, sa second equation natin, the value of x will be equal to 4 over 3. Now, we have two values of x. We have x is equal to negative 1/2 and 4 over 3. And that's it. Ta-da! Alright. And that is it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have comments, questions, recommendations, suggestions for my next video, please leave them in our comment section below. Share this video and subscribe. And for more videos like this, you can go to my channel, Teacher Justin. And that is it for today. Again, I'm Teacher Justin. Goodbye, God bless, and stay safe. See you on my next video. Peace.